everyone, this is Andromeda. Just wanted to make a quick disclaimer / content / trigger warning. Today we are covering Incident in Ghostland. This is a director that we had watched one of his previous films before, and we thought that this was going to be a good film, and it was not a good film. So the content warnings are discussion of violence in general, sexual violence, assault against women, transphobia, ableism, as well as just discussion of trauma in general. So if that content will potentially bother you or trigger you, please feel free to find another video. Okay, so now on to the episode. Okay, here we go. This is unplanned, but I'm Andromeda.
And I'm Avon.
And this is our weird, and this time it was very painful time.
This was an unplanned watch because we did feel like watching the Northman, which was supposed to be our first movie. So instead we watched Incident in a Ghostland. And I have feelings.
Okay, so the director is, what is his name again?
Pascal Laughier?
Laughier, whatever the fuck.
I don't speak French. I'm sorry. I know I butchered his name. Ooh, I have something spicy to say about him.
Yeah.
After we get done with this, I found out some allegations.
Oh, fun! Those are always fun.
Well, it was more different than just allegations. We'll get to it in a minute.
Okay, so this is the guy who did Martyrs, and I thought
The 2008 film,
Yeah.
Martyrs, not the horrible remake.
which
from
we
America.
have seen both, but obviously the first one is the best. So yeah, I mean, this had been on my Netflix to watch list for a while just because it looked interesting, and I didn't even know that it was the same director. But yeah, I enjoyed maybe 5 minutes of this entire film. It drug on so long, and I just
it was too long too.
it was way too long. It did not need to be like that.
It's only an hour and 30. It's not even that long.
I've sat through 2 hour and 45 minute movies that did not feel that long. Okay.
Who's explaining
I don't.
this movie?
Maybe let's just do a group effort.
Let's do a group effort.
Okay. So
Group
it
effort.
starts out with a quote.
Oh Lord, yeah. I didn't mind this bit. It was weird at first, but then when you get context, I didn't mind this bit.
Yeah.
That was kind of cute.
With a picture of H.P. Lovecraft. And a quote that it was the best book and the best writing ever, and it says Elizabeth Keller, who is our main character, and so she is a young writer.
Is she our main character? Well, I know she's our main character. Is that that's a pen name though, huh? That's what it seemed like, because I don't think that was her actual name.
They called her Beth. Beth is short for Elizabeth.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Beth was short for Bethany.
It can be, but Beth is people. I've heard a lot of Elizabeths called Beth.
Never heard that before. Well, you learn something new every day.
Anyway, so Beth is a young, like a teenager. She's like 14, I guess. And she likes to write, and she's in a car reading her newest piece to her mom and her sister. Her sister is not nice, just like tears her down anytime she can. And the mom tells her to stop in French, but then the sister's like, I don't speak French. The mom is my favorite character.
She was great. Also really pretty. So we find a newspaper. She goes to a convenience store, and it's like there's been an incident where a family was murdered, and the mom and dad were kept like they found the murderers in the house, and the mom and dad's bodies were with them. So implying they got
and the young girls, but the young girls were kept alive too, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then we go to the house. Well, no. then we see a candy truck driving by. This was before, actually. This was after she was done reading her story.
Yeah, they see the candy truck, and it's a very creepy candy truck, and immediately we're just like, okay, this is bad.
It is an obviously bad candy truck, and they wave, and the sister, what was her name? Not Bethany.
The sister was...
The mom's sister.
Vera,
like, flips them off. Can we take in consideration this whole entire film happened because she flipped them off?
Do you think
That's what it seems like, because she flips her back off.
Oh, okay. I mean...
the trans woman flips her back off when she's getting dragged away from the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Did this whole film start? And everything happened just because Vera flipped someone off. Because it seemed like they got angry. And they started following, though.
Oh my god.
That would be so dumb. Okay. The convenience store thing happens, and you see the car, and then it drives away. The giant truck. Then we get into the house. Beth starts her period. Vera, you find out this is their aunt's house.
Yeah,
and it has a bunch of creepy dolls. Aunt was apparently a crazy French woman.
Yeah.
You find that out at the convenience store with the person who works there. So you find out that Vera is had a boyfriend, and she's the older one out of the two sisters. She had a boyfriend and she didn't want to go, and she feels like the mother loves Bethany more. So I actually didn't mind this build up a lot. I didn't mind it much.
Yeah.
But as we're going, you see the car drive in, the truck, and then we're moving in. You're wondering, tension and stuff. So we're going on, and then all of a sudden the mom gets rammed by this big guy and hit over the head with a baby doll. And then they take Vera down to the basement, and Beth goes up the stairs and finds this woman.
Yeah, I mean, she is a woman.
She is. It's just the fucking... We'll get to that in just a minute. Fucking representation. We'll get to that in just a minute.
And the woman is like, "Don't look at me." Like, that's the first thing she says.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay.
And I can immediately tell. I immediately was like, she's a trans woman. Just immediately.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. So... the mom is fighting her. The mom wakes up and starts fighting her, and the mom beats her up. And
yeah, that part was good.
That part was good. Then she goes and then starts attacking the big guy. Bethany doesn't leave because
Beth,
the trans
not
woman,
Bethany.
Beth doesn't. Beth doesn't. Oh Lord. Beth doesn't leave. The trans girl starts getting up, and then. I'm so fucking done with this movie. Oh my god. Okay, we gotta get through this. When it switches back, you're taking over.
Yeah, that's fine. Fine.
Okay. She starts. She goes down and she starts seeing her mom attack the big guy, and she kills the big guy. And then it switches, and then, what was it? And then, the trans girl comes down and she stabs her. And then she wakes up from a dream that she had.
The mom is like, you need to run. And so the last thing we see is her banging on a window trying to get out of that apartment.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up.
Yeah, now it's your turn.
Okay, so she wakes up from this night terror.
I'll come back when she switches back.
Okay, that's fine. I feel like we're in a relay race that we were forced to be in, and neither of us want to do it.
Oh my god!
Like, here you go. Okay, here you go. Like, we're fucking reading aloud in class. Okay. Okay. So she wakes up from seemingly a night terror, and she's thrashing around, and this guy comes up and he holds her, and he's, I guess, supposedly her husband. So he's like, "Oh, it's just a dream. It's all over. It's fine." And then as sort of the camera shows their surroundings, you see that she indeed became a famous published author. And her most recent book is called Incident in a Ghostland. So oh wow, that's the name of the movie kind of thing.
Oh, man.
So that was written about her experiences, and it's been her most popular book yet.
Unbeknownst to everyone else, has been wrote about her experiences. Like people suspect because it's so real, but like this is an unknown biography of the incident that happened.
And they show her in an interview with kind of like an Ellen looking woman. Was it Eve? Something like that.
Yeah.
But the font was the Ellen font. I was like,
yeah, it was.
This sure is interesting after the Ellen show is no more because of abusive practices on set. Anyway, so
Wait!
yeah.
Oh my God, it's topical with the movie! Okay.
It is.
Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. What I read up on what he did on set. We'll get to that in just a moment.
All right.
Keep going.
So, it switches away from the interview. She asks Beth, "Oh, is it based on real life?" And she deflects or whatever. So it goes and shows that Beth and her husband and her son, who looks creepily like a doll. And before we finished I fucking clocked that. I just wanted that to be known. That
like he's always in that weird. They also call him Harlequin.
Yeah,
is this a weird reference to the Harlequin novels?
Harlequin romance.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a name for a boy?
I mean, Harley. I've heard of Harley as a name.
I've heard of Harley. Of both genders, actually. I've met a girl and a boy called Harley.
Or you mean of all genders? Of all genders.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. But, like, Harlequin?
Yeah. So I was like, that kid looks creepy. Kid looks like a doll. So she gets a call from her sister Vera, and Vera is like, Beth, they're here. You have to help me. And she's just like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? So her husband's like, where are you going? And she's like, I gotta go. Mom isn't answering her cell, and I gotta go see what's going on. So she goes back to the goddamned house that her mom and sister have not moved out of yet.
I guess it has to be the mom didn't, because how she acts later about, like, money, the mom may have just not, like, wanted to leave, or didn't want to be a bother, or something.
Yeah, I think she didn't want to, like, take handouts, I guess.
Yeah.
So Vera is in dire need of psychiatric help. That's the nicest way to say it. She did not react very well to the attack, and she has very, like, violent delusions, violent outbursts. She locks herself in the basement. Not a good time. I would have pieced out almost immediately. Personally, I would have just been gone as soon as I saw that creepy ass doll in the hallway.
Well, Beth knew that she's been like this. That's what it seemed like when she was talking to her husband. That she knew,
I mean, she knew it was bad, but I don't think she knew how bad, because she was talking to her mom, and she's like, "How do you do this every day?"
Yeah, she goes to the house and she's worried, but she realizes the mom just didn't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Or text her back. They never explained that bit. And apparently Vera just got hold of the phone. So then we're going through kind of their day to day, and
the mom gets drunk. She's clearly an alcoholic.
Oh yeah, she gets drunk because she can't deal with what's happened. And then Vera starts screaming erratically, and this is when we find out that Vera is horribly, like, has horrible mental issues because of what happened, where she just hurting herself and acting like they're really there, i.e. Martyrs, because that's what she does in Martyrs. We'll get to that. Spoilers for a good movie.
Yeah.
Spoilers for an actual really good movie. So we're going through, and you find out. Yeah. You're just going through, and she asks her, "How do you do this every day?" And what does she say back?
Does Does she say something about love? Some corny shit? I don't remember.
No, there wasn't a lot of corny stuff in the film. Not until the end.
Yeah.
Then kind of got a little horny.
Horny?
Okay, it did in a really iffy way, but corny. Oh, yeah. I forgot about him sniffing.
Yeah, we kind of forgot to mention that the big guy sniffed their panties. Sniffed both of their panties.
Like, held them up by the leg and sniffed both of them, and since Beth just started her period, he, like, pitched her and then dragged Vera away. That's when he dragged her away. Yeah.
Which, this movie was very iffy for me because of my triggers, so I didn't even know if I was going to make it through the whole thing, but if anything happened, they didn't show it, at least.
I fully believe something happened to Vera.
Yeah.
Something has been happening to Vera. Like, then and most likely later, but yeah. So, what is it? We're going through the film. There's a stupid jump scare moment with a doll, and she wakes up and sees on the mirror, "Help me," so she just thinks it's Vera, and she's, like, going on. We're kind of going through their life, and this is around the point when I guessed this is all a fantasy, because Vera found, originally, in the beginning of the film, she found a magazine that Beth made about her being an author and all of this stuff. So she's she's a storyteller. She writes stories. She kind of lives in her fantasy. So I'm like, this is all in her fantasy. She's gonna wake back up or something like that, and she's gonna be back in the house, and she never left. And I was right. How did you feel about that at the time?
I mean, I figured that it could be possible, but I was also like, no, that seems too, like, stereotypical. Like, that seems too much of a gotcha kind of thing. But then as it progressed, I was like, no, you're right.
that was the crazy thing. Martyrs twist never felt gotcha. Martyrs twist never felt like a gotcha moment. Okay, we're not going to spoil that one because that's an actual good one. At least on this video. So we're going through, and then she starts getting Vera starts getting attacked. She's chained up, and Beth is trying to help her. She wakes up her mom, and her mom comes to help her, and you're just seeing Vera, like, beat herself up, i.e. Martyrs. She just starts beating herself up, and just her fingers are all torn up and everything, so she's like, stay there, I'm gonna go call the police, keep track of your sister, the mom says to Bethany. And then, like, Vera disappears, and then this is a point which I didn't mind as much because it started getting more surreal, which I liked. But as we're going through, she, like, gets to the basement, and then Vera starts, like, talking to her one-on-one, and then starts kind of, like, really... This is the point where you figure out that, oh, this has been a dream, or, like, a fantasy, because then she starts talking to her, waking her up out of her thing. So then she finally wakes her up out of her little nightmare. I feel like I'm skipping on something, but I can't.
You're doing better than I would, because honestly, a lot of the continuity of the movie in my brain is just all jumbled around, because...
Okay, so you find out that she's in the house, and she always has been, and they eat mushrooms in a weirdly weird scene. That I don't understand why it's there. They just start shoving mushrooms in their mouth.
I thought those were marshmallows.
No, marshmallows. That's what I thought I was saying.
You said mushrooms? I was like, they eat shrooms? When did that happen? Damn.
That would have made the film better.
That would have explained a lot if they just, like, chowed down on mushrooms.
Okay, so then ringing starts happening. Vera's like, you have to hide. So then, like, did Vera, like, ditch her? Was this, like, revenge? Vera's like, you have to hide, and then proceed to put her in the cupboard where the people instantly find her.
I don't know. It seems like they found Vera first.
You don't hear any screaming. I don't remember any, at least. So it seemed like they just instantly found Beth. Like Vera just ditched her sister.
Yeah, I don't know where Vera was then. I have no idea.
So then we're going on, and then the woman starts dolling up Beth, and then the big guy she's in a bunch of dolls, and the big guy like takes one of them and starts doing weird stuff to it and sniffing it, and then proceeds to um and then it proceeds to talk because it's like one of those dolls, and then he gets angry and pitches it, and then he grabs Beth and does the same thing.
Well, don't forget, he also burns the
yeah.
doll's arm off with a blowtorch.
Yeah, to make it stop. He does that. Okay, and then we're going. I'm just trying to rush through this through the story part. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, so we can get to the meat of this movie.
Yeah. The guy also tries to like touch her, but she stabs him in the shoulder.
So she got like scissors from one of the dolls. The guy tries to touch her. She stabs him. She then a whole tuffle happens.
Mm-hmm. She beats him in the head with a typewriter, the same typewriter she was using in her like fantasy world.
Oh yeah. In her fantasy world, when she wakes up from it, finally she sees like a picture of her husband. She sees a picture of Eve, what she like thought, what Eve looked like, and all of this stuff. So like this has all been centralated in here.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Stuff into this god-awful movie. She gets in a tuffle with the trans woman and then proceeds to be able to escape, both her and Vera. So they run away and they find some cops, and the cops are like, we'll help you, da-da-da-da-da. And then the trans woman proceeds to, like, amazingly and almost badass shot, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I know she's, like, what they've showed, she's a horrible person, but an almost badass shot. She starts, like, shooting him, and then it shoots back, and she's, like, in this dress just walking to him and just pegging him down, and I'm just like,
good
damn.
for her. Honestly, good for her. That's the one good thing she did. Because
like,
ACAB.
Damn. Just like, damn. Okay, and then she kidnaps them back, and then she disassociates again.
She, as in Beth, disassociates again after they've been caught.
Yeah, and they're back at the house, and she disassociates again, and she's at a whole like a party about her new book and everything, and then she sits down and notes like whoever would guess H.P. Lovecraft sits down right next to her in a horrible prosthetic. Like
he had the smallest mouth
and like the biggest jaw. Like if Chads think they're packing with their jaw, they should look at H.P. Lovecraft.
Chad mixed with Jay Leno. And the Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh Lord,
that's what this guy was.
It's not that the prosthetic looked bad. It's just it didn't look human. Like his face looked weird. It didn't look right. It's like the proportions of it, but if I saw his face, I wouldn't have been able to say, well, this is a prosthetic, that isn't. But it doesn't look right. Like I was like, what the fuck? So then he's like, it's a masterpiece. I wanted him to give her a speech, actually.
What kind of speech would you have had him give?
So I wanted him to give her a speech about defining the thematics that I actually enjoy from this, which is about, dreams and fantasies and reality. And I would have really liked if he gave her a speech, knowing that H.P. Lovecraft was a horrible like introvert. He was a big introvert and most likely lived in his own fantasies. It would have been interesting if he gave her a speech. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't happen. Like that would have been a perfect point. But he just calls it a masterpiece and walks off.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, sure, we'll go with it. And then she walks up the stairs, she's hearing screaming, and then she sees Vera, and then
her mom is at the party, yeah.
Yeah, and her mom, everyone's at the party, like the cop who just died is at the party, her husband and her son's at the party. She looks at Vera and back at the mom, and the mom's like, don't go, stay.
This is a perfect world.
And like, okay, so I like this.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to finish it before I keep going into this, because then we'll never finish the plot. We need to finish the story so people coherently, at least enough, know what we're talking. Okay. So then she's like, but I really want to save my sister. And her mom's like, okay, go then, do it. I believe in you. And I'm like, okay, why did you just switch like that? But all right. Mm-hmm. So then she goes and she kills the big guy And then a cop comes in and is like, "Don't you move, trans woman," and then kills the trans woman, and her wig falls off, and we're just both
I
me and Bart.
was like, why do you gotta do that to her? Leave her
Just
wig
like,
on.
Like, the Picard meme? That meme. I just put my hand on my face. I was like, I'm so fucking done with this thing. And then she's in the ambulance, and the guy's like, "Do you play sports?" And she's like, "No, I don't." And then, "I write stories."
Well, okay, don't forget that the guy's like, how about I lost that bet?
Oh yeah, like weird. And then it ends.
Yeah, with very dramatic music.
Okay, well, oh, I hope that was coherent.
So, not only is this blatant transphobia,
oh my god, yeah,
it's also ableism, because the big guy he's very similar to Sloth
from the Goonies.
From the Goonies, yeah. His face isn't really distorted, but he has some sort of mental processing issues, because the entire time he doesn't speak. He just like grunts and groans and makes noises. So we have ableism. He's wearing.
He does have the slit on his mouth, like on his upper mouth, but he doesn't really. But it also doesn't do the sloth thing where, like, sloth is spooky or scary. But in the end, Sloth like helps them and is a really nice dude.
No, this is really he is what it is. Like they are what they are. The trans woman's evil. The big dumb redneck guy, because he's also wearing overalls. So that goes into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of deal. Oh, also, forgot to mention, going back, a creepy thing that happened when in the first like delusion. When the mom was drunk, she was like, "I should have eaten you both."
Oh, yeah!
"You smell like Beth. I should have eaten you so men didn't get near you." And she's like, "Okay, Mom." Okay.
She's like, "Alrighty."
And I'm just like, cannibalism? Okay. I will take cannibalism over what we saw. Honestly.
Okay, so we have that.
Yes.
What I liked from this film, what I really liked, was the aspect of dreams, fantasies, and reality, and having to accept your reality, even how bad it is, and fight against it. That you can't live in your fantasy and change what's happening, but you can if you fight against your reality. I mean, if you fight against, what's happening in your fantasy that's making you retreat back into your fantasy. That is only like 5% of this film. That is like the main theme, I would have to say, which I like. But it's like a nugget where there's so much shit around it. And I was so...
Let's see, there's jump scares. Most of the movie is in the dark, and you cannot see anything. Like, it was hard to tell what the fuck was going on.
Okay, I wasn't that bad, but the jump scares were annoying. Like I don't get spooked from jump scares a lot, but I don't like them in general, because I feel like it's cheap. It's very cheap. It was mostly jump scares. Most of the horror was jump scares, and I was just so fucking done with it.
It was jump scares, it was violence, and it was the threat of sexual assault. And trans.
Threat of sexual assault.
The threat and implication of sexual assault.
Yeah. So, this movie was really bad.
I feel like I lost years of my life.
Okay, so let me go into this. I love Martyrs.
Mm-hmm.
Martyrs is one of my favorite movies. I love what it's talking about. It's brutal, it's horrifying, it's amazing. So I love Martyrs. Martyrs is an utter masterpiece. This film was not. This film felt like he is trying to make Martyrs. Like, throughout the whole film, I kept feeling, are you just really trying to remake Martyrs? Are you really badly just trying to remake Martyrs? You could have remade it with that American remake, buddy. Mm-hmm. I would have rathered if you did. Maybe it would have been better. That was shit, too. That may be worse than this, because there isn't a nugget like there is in this. But, like, is that all you were trying to do? You made Martyrs an utter masterpiece, and then you gave up on ideas. I haven't seen your other two films. He did one before Martyrs and one after, and before this. But I don't know if I wanna, cause like, is that where your peak was? Did you like just accidentally make a great film? Oh.
Like,
Martyrs
is this an M. Night Shyamalan kind of situation?
M. Night Shyamalan at least has a few films.
Yeah.
Is this guy just one though?
Mm-hmm.
But like my big thing is that with Martyrs, its brutality never felt like torture porn. It never felt like Saul or Hostel or other stuff. It was brutal, but it had a reason to be. In the very end, there's a reason for it to be the way it was. And I always use Martyrs as a perfect example, as a film that's brutal for a reason. That and 120 Days of Sodom. Both those films are films that I will always use as like, yes, there's a reason that we can go very hard if you have a point to it. This film never felt like it had to go as hard as it did. It never felt like there was a reason to. Like thematically and on paper, yeah, it does. Like, I bet I could say what happens in the film and, kind of like we did, and you would be like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad, or, oh, that sounds like it could work. But like in the movie, it just doesn't. It doesn't work. And even by itself, if I wasn't comparing this to Martyrs, I still wouldn't think like this would work. This doesn't work. It feels like torture porn, even if the thematics technically kind of work with it. It still feels like torture porn. It's like I watched a director that I really love, like that one film that I really love from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you watch another one and you're just like, whoa, what the fuck did you do? What happened, buddy?
Like, did he just run out of time? Or
I don't know how his other two films are. I don't know how The Tall Man or I don't know the other one's name are. So we would have to watch those to put a consensus on if he should, if his films are just bad. Except Martyrs. But yeah, like people compared him. I saw a thing, and people directly compared him to Eli Roth at a point, which I hate. I despise Eli Roth, and I almost laughed my ass off because I was like, kinda, yeah, I get what you mean. He kinda is, not exactly. There is a difference, but and if you would have told me that the director of Martyrs is like getting close to how Eli Roth is, I wouldn't have believed you. But he does. So the allegation that happened, not really an allegation, this is a full-on lawsuit. I don't know who won or whatever, but are rumors that this guy isn't a very good guy. There's a scene where Beth is banging, not Beth, what's her sister's name?
Vera.
Vera's banging against a window or like a mirror, and apparently on set the director kept pushing her to hit it harder, hit it harder, hit it harder, and she was like, is this safe? And him and the producer went, yeah, it is. And then she hit it and she went forward, fucking up her face and body.
What the fuck?
So like there's pictures of it. It's not that bad, but I say that it's bad enough. It's not like she's ruined, her whole face is ruined, but at the same time, like that's too far, buddy. Like, no. It's around I saw an image, at least on her face, it's around her jaw. And it is a pretty bad, it's a gash, it's pretty bad, but it's not her whole face tore off. Like, I hear that, and I think her whole face tore off. I'm not trying to say that it wasn't bad, but like that is a shitty move, and she pressed charge, she sued his ass, and I hope that went through, because he deserves that, because that is a shitty thing to do. That is uncalled for. So you've mentioned Ellen about her treating her workers a bit shittily, and I'm like, apparently he does too! I'm so done with this movie. Should we start like a rating system or something? Or like, not a rating system, but like a shit, or I don't know, like...
Well, I definitely give this a thumbs down. That's the
if we're going with that,
I can definitively give this. I would say just don't watch this. This isn't even enjoyable if you make fun of it. There were a few moments that were kind of funny. Like
there was a moment like the guy
when she got bitch slapped,
like banging into the room, and he had this giant doll head in his arms, like above his head. It was, and it was like
no, and then there was another time where they just like clocked the shit out of her, and then it cut to some music. Oh, yeah. There was the time where they were playing opera in the truck, and they were banging, and you hear, oh!
when they come back, when they get kidnapped again, it instantly cuts to them in the truck, and they're just like, oh! They're just like, oh. Like, what happened? What happened?
I don't know. Because this is 10 years after Martyrs came out.
Oh god, it
2018.
is. Yeah. Okay, so it's like, do you remember the beginning scene of Martyrs?
Yes, I do.
Where you see, like, the thing, and it almost feels like just a strict horror film?
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine the way that felt is the whole movie. That's the whole movie. And I'm like, did you just, like, fumble the whole, like, what happened? Because that was the whole film. Like, that's the only bit of Martyrs I don't like, is the very beginning scene.
Mm-hmm.
No, not the very beginning. I like the scene where she's running away, but the beginning scene where she's like wondering where this thing is, and then she sees it on a bedpost, and it like jumps at her. Like, I don't like that scene. It feels very cheap horror. That's how the whole film felt. That's how the whole movie felt. I was so done with this part.
Yeah,
I picked it because I've been in the mood for something kind of hard and something that really challenges me, not just in what's in the film, but like what is it saying and talking about. But so I was looking at some French extremity films, you know, the movement that popped up in the early 2000s in France, because they felt like there was this push of conservatism, because there was. It wasn't a big movement, it was like a handful of directors, but he was one of them with Martyrs. So I was like, oh, I'll watch one of his films. You know, maybe I'll go look at one of his films. So I saw it. This was his newest film. And I went, and I was just like, oh, let's watch this. I was the one who picked this up. I was like, let's watch it.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed.
You know, for once, we can blame the bad movie choices on you, because usually it's me, because I just pick weird shit.
Yes, you can. This is I was, in the middle of the movie, I was like, is this why I'm not allowed to pick French films anymore?
Yes, this is why. Once again, this is why. This whole thing. But it takes place in Canada.
Oh, yeah, it takes place in Canada. Filmed in Canada or something. Oh, yeah, the whole film's in English. I guess bits and pieces of it isn't. Bits and pieces of it is in French, because the mom, like, one sentence or two talks in French. It's not a lot. It's you don't really have to have subtitles on if you don't want to. I'm done.
I feel like I need a nap.
I'm gonna go watch Us with my brother. A much better movie. Us is a much better film. If you want to watch a better film, go watch Us, or go watch the film we were gonna watch, The Northman. We were gonna rewatch The Northman and deal with, like, if it's like a toxic male fantasy, or like talking about or like critiquing toxic masculinity, but instead we watched this. Now I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Yeah. So neither of us liked it. It was a painful experience.
It's the most painful experience.
I just hope that we can spare others from experiencing the same pain. Yeah. So that's it for today.
That's it for now.
I am Andromeda, and
Avon.
I am in great pain.
This movie.
All right, bye.
Bye.